hello again. Now on to what I have in folders now, which I'm going to take out because I have to sort them all out. I'm going to put all babies into one folder and all the others into the other folders. I have 4 folders altogether so I can sort them out. The first one, that one I already have, that one. Surdo wash and wear. It's amongst those ones down there, so I'll put that over to one side. Then I have hats, hoodies, mitts, more hats. It's one of my own. Most of these are my own. They're ancient, these ones, but I still do these hats, the loopy ones. That's a hallmark. The other one was Peyton's, a Studley. Gloves and mitts, a Sirdar. Gloves and mitts. These are for older children, these ones. So I'll put that one amongst those because it's a small one. That one's a small one. And those ones are for the older children. Booties and mittens. No, they're not the old booties. There's an awful lot of booties on there. Those were the kind of things I did when I was younger. That was an emu pattern. This one is a greenock. Booties and mitts. You can tell by the black and white they're very old. These were all in 3-ply, so I doubt whether they'd ever be getting done again. This was the best way. Hats, booties and mittens. So I wish I had photographs of mine when they were babies, but we didn't have phones to take photos and that. We had to have a camera with a film in. So I would have been able to show you a lot of these on my children. Hats, bonnets, boots, mitties, mittens. And that's a bellmond. I have to remember that B in the bell underneath means bellmond. And there's a Peyton's for the older children, hats, pom-pom hats, and up to 2 years, the Peyton's, so that's there. And a lot of these ones I did for my boys when they were kids, because my oldest one is 56 years old now. So they were the type, and that pattern book was 1 and 6pence. 1 shilling and 6pence, which is 5, 2.5, 7.5 pence. But that was old money. I don't know what 7.5 pence, that's the equivalent now. Yes, that would be the equivalent in today's money. 1 shilling and 6pence. They were up to 7.5 years, so that goes there. I'll take these out of here. These were all ones I knitted for my children when they were babies. Another bellman's, matinee coat, hat, mittens and booties. And that is the pattern. This one here. I have that pattern there which has exactly the same. You buy these separate patterns with the hats and the jackets and the other things that's on it. But I had the pattern with all of them on it, but the only ones I ever did for mine were the little thing with the hood on, because mine were boys and you didn't do angel tops and other little things for them. So that one goes there. And then I have a Peter Gregory, matinee coats and mittens. Then a Hayfield. They're like new, some of these patterns, never use them once and put them away. It's a 16 to 2, 22 inch, that's 2 little cardigans. There's a hayfield. 3 little cardigans. 2 plain ones and 1 with a little bit pattern on. They go up to 24 inch, so that's over there. And then 2 Peter Pan by Wendy, little cardigans. They go up to 24 inch, so that's there. And then I have another Bellman's. I knit this one for mine. Hat, matinee coat, leggings, booties and mittens. And the booties are something more like the type you would do these days. The style of them. And then I have a Studley, 3 matinee coats. The Bronte cardigans and matinee coats. That's up 22, that's baby's one. And a Hayfield, 3 cardigans. Some of these were a lot of my patterns were all in 4 ply because that's what I used to use, 3 and 4 ply. I never did double knitting when they were little babies. I went on to quicker knit when they got bigger. And that's a Serdar, like dungaree type leggings, jackets and hats. And as you can see, the price on that is 7p in old money. I'm not even sure what 7p is these days. 6p is 2.5p, so it's about three new pence that pattern would have cost. That was up to 18 months. And a Copley Lotus, is that the name of the brand? Yes, Copley, that's the Copley or Copley, I don't know how you pronounce it. With 2 little cardigans, which I knit for my boys. 24. I think I'm going to sell a lot of these patterns. Some of them are still like brand new, and I'm never ever going to use them again. And that Serdar, little pants with things over the shoulder and sweater. That's 22 inch. And 3 little cardigans, and you see the price on that, 6p, which is 2.5p. That was my own pattern. I had that for my kids when they were little. Especially that little one up there. It's a double-breasted little jacket with a collar on, and my boys look lovely in them. Another 6p pattern, 2.5p, matinee coat with hat and booties. Another one that I did for mine when they were babies, so you never put anything in little boys as they got older, you know, you didn't put things like that on them. Just when they were very small babies. And a shilling, which is 5p. That is a Wendy baby quicker knit. That was a hooded little jacket. These are all ones I knit for my children. Most of them I've got in this folder here, or what I knit myself. And another one, pants, hat and jacket. Another 6p pattern, that's 2.5p. 22, that's there. Elite Target, matinee coats. One's knitted with crochet and knitted part they are. They were 8p, 8p, so that was the new, that was must have been after 1971. I would have got that for my younger ones. And more matinee coats, patterns. A hayfield, it's a shilling. It's got a shilling or 5p, so it was made after 71, I think it was. When the money changed, 71 or 72. 3 little sweaters, which I done for all of them for my boys. That's a 24-inch, so that goes over there. And quicker knit little hooded jackets for 9p. 9p in old money, which was probably about 4p, something like that, I think. Some more that I did for my boys. Hayfield, little jacket with picot edges around. I think I did some like these for friends of mine. That's there, that one. And another shilling or 5p hayfield pattern. I did that for mine when they were first born. Only that is a little bonnet on there, but I did like a little helmet type hat. Doesn't show you on there, I just worked it out myself. And an emu. I seem to have the corners cut off here for, I don't know why. But you can see I spoilt a lot of my patterns by folding them in half. That was another shilling 5p. That was emu, little cable and moss stitch patterns. I think they are 21-inch, yes, that goes there. It's a Sirdar. This is the one I have amongst there somewhere that I have the same pattern, but they're different colours and a different brand name on the pattern, but they're exactly the same patterns. I'll have to hunt it out. I'll put that one over there because I don't need to have 2 of the same one in there. And some of my patterns, you never want to let your little kids loose with a pair of scissors. I had to stick a lot of patterns together, as you can see there. They found my scissors one day and decided to cut all my patterns up. I've got a lot like that that's stuck together. That's little children's sweaters with little dogs on the bottom. I could do ones like that sometime. And that's a little polo neck sweater and a waistcoat, and that was a 9p pattern. A 9p, that's old money, not 9p. 9p a d. Oh no, it was 9p. 9p. It would have been 9d if it was 9p, but this is 9p. It's another one with a polo neck and a little waistcoat. That was a Lister. Yeah, that's a 9p, the difference I showed you. That is 9p in old money, not 9p, but 9p, that's what we used to call it. And 5p was 2.5p, so it was probably about 4p in the money these days. So it was little sweaters with little ducks and things on. For 6 months, that one, so that goes there. So that shows you how old some of these patterns are, that before 1971, 72, I think, when the money changed. Not sure that it was 71 or 72. 1 shilling, 5 pence. Lister, a little double-breasted jacket. I did quite a few of that one, and an ordinary little cardigan there. And a Serdar, 9 pence, so that was a later money. Little cardigans with patterns on the front. I never saw what size they were. Oh, 9 to 12 months. And then Harmony. These are 3-ply. These are the kind of things I used to do. That, especially that one there, that was the one I did, I think, for mine. I was a little bit older then because it was 16, 18 inch. The other were matinee coats. They were 6pence in old money, 2.5 pence. It's amazing when you think what patterns cost these days. And ones I did for my boys. This is the best way knitting pattern. It wasn't a crocheted one. I did the knitted one with the little buttons down the front. That one's a crochet one with the buttons. I never did that one because they were a bit older by then and they wouldn't have wore it. They were 22 to 26. They were probably about 4 or 5 year old when I knit those ones. And there's a robin. 3 little cardigans. Another pattern, that was 1 shilling, 5 pence. That was all 3 I knit for my boys. 20 chests to go up to. And this is a Studley. I'm sure I've found that one amongst those somewhere that I've already shown. The matinee, not matinee, yes, a matinee jacket and a cardigan with little hat. So I'm going to put that one over there until I sort them out. Some of these smaller patterns I have 2, side by side. That was the first size pram set, Patons and Beehive. That's what I did for my boys. Little hat, leggings and a matinee coat. That one. And there's another one with leggings, hat and jacket. That's a Peter Pan. Another one was 6pence, that pattern, that's 2.5 pence pattern. Little matinee coats. Look to see it hasn't got the price on this pattern. Must have stopped putting the price on after a while, I think. And an emu. Little cardigans with boat, looks like Mickey Mouse, and a duck, things like that. 23 inches, I'll go on to there, it's a bit larger, that one. And Hayfield. Another 2.5 pence, no 5 pence, not 2.5 pence. It's 5p, not 5d. So 4 little cardigans. That's a 24 inch. A coats. It's a coats with little boy's pants and sweater and a little girl's skirt and sweater, the same design for both of them. I think I did the pants and the sweater for mine. And that went up to a 22 chest, so that's a small one. And this one, a robin, licorice, all sorts. The street that I lived in at the time, I must have done that for every child in the street. But I did it on my knitting machine because I had a knitting machine at the time. And that was what I did these ones on. I worked it out for the knitting machine because everybody in the street wanted one. I think it was one of the newscasters on our local TV thing that actually started it off. So that was up to a 22 inch, that one, the robin pattern. Now a serdar, just cardigan and sweater with the little Fair Isle pattern around. 2 to 4 years, that's for the older one. And another one I did for my kids, little cable cardigan, a robin. Another emu sweaters, polo sweater and just a crew neck sweater. And a Wendy, like a pullover type thing with a belt on. It's a larger size. I've still got so many in this folder and it's taken me so long to do them. That's a serdar. It's just a little jacket with a collar and a zip. Another serdar with, you know, little kids that go to ballet school. The legging things and the little crossover, the jacket that crossover. That's a serdar. That goes up to a 36, so that's be amongst the children and adults. And a Wendy hat and a belted jacket with pockets. Up to a 32. And another jacket with a zipper. That's emu. I have to put all these back in these folders afterwards, you know. That's a Studley. Aran type jackets for boys and girls. I think I'm going to have to leave the other folders for another video because I've still got quite a lot of those as well. This is a Hayfield jacket. I think I made for myself a lot of years ago, but I made for one of my sons as well because I think it was the sizes were 32 to 46. I think I whittled it down a little bit because he was only about 10 at the time and he wanted one like what Starsky wore in Starsky and Hutch, the TV series, and that was the only one I could find that was anywhere like it. It's not the same, but I did it for myself and for him, so put that on there. And that's a serdar, little V-neck top and short sleeve cardigan. Very well worn that. I use that one an awful lot. Pseudo one, that's an adult one there. And that's a Bellman's Aaron cardigans, father and son. That's a children and adults. Another Wendy with zipped cardigans with very deep rib. You can see the rib comes from about there. That was 34 to 38, so that is more adult sizes, aren't they? And a Lister, little bolero jackets, and one with long sleeves and a short sleeved one. That's for children and adults. And this is a Serdar. It's a patterned sweater. Another Hayfield, patterned sleeves on that one. That's a Serdar. It was a particular wool called Sugar and Spice, which you can't get now anyway. I don't know what would be the equivalent because it's not double knitting. I don't know what size needles. You had 5mm, 4mm and 5mm needles, so it's probably equivalent to Aaron. But the wool was very fluffy on that one. I loved that one. I knit that for myself a lot of years ago. Another one I knit for myself is in 4-ply, that cardigan, the twin set. Serdar. I'm coming to the end of this now. I carried on, but it's taken a lot longer than normal. This is a Wendy. Just a jacket that I never actually knit it, but I think it had double buttons, like double breasted, but just the bottom ones. And the Robin sweater. I think I'm on the last page here, so this is the last one I'm doing in this video. No, I haven't. I've got another page. A short sleeved sweater, and that's a Robin one. And a Serdar twin set, short sleeved sweater and cardigan. Now I have another page after this one. And a man's cardigan. I knit this for my husband in black. He loved this cardigan. And then you wanted another one, and it won the same colour as the pattern. It's quite easy to knit, just a little bit cable up the front. And there's another man's cardigan with a bit pattern on the front. A Robin. I have one, that's my last page I'm on to now. That's another sweater, short sleeve sweater I knit for myself a lot of years ago when I was very young, and like things like that looked right on you. Got too many lumps and bumps now for things like that. And just shawl type collar sweaters. I think I knit them for friends. Emu, that was. So that is that folder, my knitting pattern file. So that's that video. I still have other folders, and I'm not going to do that one just now because it takes too long. So anyway, thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll show you the next one shortly. So bye for now.